a society built upon equality and principles of justice and accountability, the question on whether the death penalty should be legal stirred a passionate debate. I'm Zoe Kessler, and today I stand before you to argue in favor of its legality. I will present a perspective that acknowledges both sides of this issue and need of its existence within our justice system. These are the states with, and these are the states that have it currently illegal completely, and then a couple of these are still in a debate. Imagine a scale of justice tipped by the decision of a single verdict, a decision that divides opinions and continues debate that continues through generations. Today we still confront and debate over the topic of legal death penalty. Did you know that 70% of those convicted of heinous crimes serve significantly less of what they are sentenced to and are released from prison before their full punishment? The death penalty, known as capital punishment, has been an ongoing debate due to morality, justice, and the ethical standing for many decades. Despite the controversy and reasoning from both sides, the death penalty should be legal as it gives justice and safety to the victims and their families and gives the people convicted equal punishment for their crimes. Now that we've gone over what I believe, let's move into the main point of my speech and supporting factors that make what I believe a valid argument. Why the death penalty should be legalized for heinous crime offenders and how it affects and helps other parties involved. If the threat of death is known consequent to the actions of murder and other crimes, like sex trafficking and sexual assault, the likelihood of people committing these crimes knowing the result, if caught, is a sentence to death would influence them not to do it, because not only committing such an intense crime, you're committing the death upon yourself. In the past 10 years, the execution rate in the U.S. has increased while murder has declined. Abolishing the death penalty, we will then be sacrificing the lives of many innocent victims whose murders could have been deterred. By not abolishing the death penalty, we are only certainly sacrificing the lives of those willing to take someone else's or do enough emotional and physical damage to one's well-being and physical well-being. This is the percentage of people and their parties of who believes and who does not. The legal death penalty serves as a necessary tool for maintaining law and order within our communities. In this world where crime rates continue to fluctuate, these violent offenders continue to roam the streets. The death penalty acts as a deterrent, and the death penalty gives a sense of closure for the loved ones left behind, offering them the peace that their families, perpetrators, will never pose the same threat to society as before. Perhaps most importantly, leaving the death penalty illegal upholds the principle of justice itself. It is an affirmation of our society's commitment to holding individuals accountable for their actions and ensuring that justice is served in cases where the evidence is overwhelming and the crimes committed are unforgivable. The death penalty represents the ultimate form of justice, a fitting punishment for those willing to commit this level of offense against humanity. It is very essential to realize that the death penalty must be administered with care, caution, knowing that lives are at stake. Safeguards must be in place to prevent the wrongful conviction and execution of innocent individuals. The process must be transparent and fair to all individuals sentenced to these crimes. It is unethical when a criminal commits a crime and wrongly inflicts greater loss, pain, and trauma than he or she has to bear. If the punishment is given in less than the crime is conflicted, we are allowing criminals to get away with so much for so little. By inflicting death on those who deliberately inflicted on others, it ensures justice for all. These are two murderers that got out after 20 years of prison and were convicted again of murder after getting out. These are the main execution methods. Lethal injection is the primary method of execution in all states that legalize the death penalty. More than a dozen of the states also use secondary methods, and 6 states utilize other methods that are available if the offender requests an alternative. Wherever you stand on the issue, keep in mind that each state has its own death penalty laws and ways of implementing them. Now that my speech is coming to an end, I want to remind you all the importance and delicateness of this debate and the justice it serves for all parties involved. Abolishing the death penalty would allow criminals at an extreme level to commit these crimes without having the same level of punishment in return, and the death penalty ensures justice for all victims and families involved and keeps equal punishment to crime committed. Remember that this justice is not for the weak chargers and criminals that are not convicted of this level of crime in an extreme level that is not the course of action. Thank you all for listening.